Let's see where we go next. I think my assistant, is laying on my pencil. There we go. So that step is done. I always check off my steps. Otherwise, when I come back to work, I'm not quite sure where I am. So I like to know where I'm at. All right, we're going to embroider the candy canes 4. Applique the stripes 5 through 9 to the candy cane, then add the sequins. Fold the candy canes in half, lightly stuff, and applique the edge. Applique the candy canes to the cocoa. If I remember right, the candy canes are straight. They're kind of peppermint sticks, I think, is what I would call them, as opposed to candy canes. So that's number 4. And it looks like there's 2 of them. Oh, sorry, bud. There are 2. This one is 4. Then we have 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9. So there are. Oh, I see here. Look at what they've done for us. How nice. This one is number 23. So I need to find the one that says number 4. Here it is. Over here on this side, number 4. So even though it's 2 peppermint sticks, they've made it as one piece. So that's nice. We can cut it. Remember, rough cut out of your full sheet. I'll probably say this 100 times. I already have. Taking the number with you. Otherwise, I find that the sheet that I have left has got all these numbers on it, and it can be a little confusing. Okay, it says that I need pieces 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I see those right here. Again, cutting away and taking the numbers with me. And it says, and wisely so, to sequin these after you sew them on. But the first thing I'm going to do before I even sew them on is I'm going to do that black outline stitch on these top 2 lines here. That's what it it says. So again, it's the single strand of outline stitch. So I'm going to start from over here. And I'm going to let the thread go all the way around, and I'm going to come back just on the inside there. Oh, I know, I was curious as to when this kit was released. If you are wondering that about your kit, oh, I have to get it out from under the cat. Okay. Is you can find a copyright date right here down in the corner. And this one is a 2023 Plaid Enterprises. And Plaid is the parent company for Bucilla. You can see Plaid, and Bucilla. So this is a new kit, or new on the market. I knew that when I saw it, I grabbed it. I didn't wait because I just thought this was a really, really cute set of ornaments. Normally I would wait until it came to the parent company, Plaid, which I actually think that this kit was allowed to be released exclusively by Mary Stockings, at least for a time. And I don't get, I'm not in a partner program with Mary Stockings, although there are some discount plans they've got available for kind of like points or things like that that you can get. I purchase most often through Plaid because I am in a partner program with them, so I get a discount. But not for this one. I could not wait. So, ouch. That doesn't happen very often that I can't wait. I'm a pretty patient person, but nope, this one I wanted for this year for my kids. So we'll see if I get them all done. I've got some doubts in my mind about that, but we'll see. It is not even October yet, so I just might make it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Come in on this side. And then let the thread go all the way around. And if you need to, like this one, the thread needs to come up a little bit from where it wants to. I will just I'll go around it and give it a little tack down there, and then pick up my stitch over here. If I can get my needle to go in where I want it to. There we go. A. Esther. Okay. And I'll knot this up. I don't know. It doesn't show this line on the instructions, but I think I'm going to do it just in case it shows once I fold it and get it tacked on there, because I don't want to have an unembroidered incline. I've had to knot off and cut all of these separate pieces because they don't connect. And I don't want to have a thread dragging across from somewhere, look like the wires on a Christmas display when they don't hide them well and they just drag them from one spot to another. Okay, and again, I've gone all the way around. So that it goes right to the edge there. And then I will just do a quick outline stitch here. Okay, now when I'm doing these stripes on candy canes, which if you do a lot of these Christmas ones, you will do a fair number of them. I like to cut them out one at a time. Obviously, you have to cut them out one at a time, but I cut them out in numerical order, so I know I'm doing number 5. And then I'm going to go and pin it right to where it's going to go. Once I get it cut out, we're going to apply the sequins after we get them stitched on. And whenever you've got embroidery and sequins to do, I always recommend that you do your embroidery first, do all of it first, because the sequins love to grab your floss and hang on to it, tangle it up in the sequins. So if you wait to put them on last, you'll have less of that particular headache. I also look at my piece once I get it cut out to see if there's any paint left on it. Try not to leave any paint on them, but sometimes you don't notice it until later. I don't like this black dot right here. And there we go, I got it that time. Okay, so there's number 5. Now I will cut number 6. And sometimes you'll notice that I spin my piece all around trying to figure out where to start cutting. And, I don't really have any rhyme or reason for that. I just kind of can. I like to be at an edge that I can come at and isn't too deep into the fabric so that I can get a good direction on it, and I don't, I'm not off base in my cutting. So that's what I'm doing when I'm spinning it around. And I decide different things based on whatever it is I'm working on at that moment. So, okay. Now we want number 7. See, I feel like I'm closer to this edge and I can go kind of straight up there. If I came in here, I'm coming in and having to head to a curve. So I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but, and it really doesn't matter as long as you can do a nice job cutting. It doesn't really matter where you start. And you'll notice I get my scraps into the trash kind of right away, and that's because of my wonderful assistant who sometimes likes to come along and grab the scraps and try to eat them. And I don't think that felt is very highly digestible, and I just like keeping my working surface as uncluttered as possible. Since he happens to be gone at the moment, I have a little bit more space right now. Okay, this is number 8. Let's see. Goes this way, I think. Looks like it fits there. And the last one, number 9. There we go. Okay. Now I just need to thread up an embroidery needle with some red thread, and then we can get it stitched down there. This is one of those self-threading needles where you go like except it's not working. I'm not doing it right. I'm supposed to be able to just kind of get it in there. I think I'm going to thread it normally. All right. It's just going all the way around each one of these little things and moving to the next one. So I think I'm going to start right here. And as I work and get it fairly attached, you'll see that I'm going to pull the pins out, because the pins can be just as challenging as your sequins as far as catching your threads. So once I get it pretty much secured so that I know it's going to be covering all the guidelines, I'll pull the pin out and just work by holding it so that I can avoid some of the tangling that happens with lots of pins in your work. And I do try to be careful. These little points like this can be a challenge because, again, felt is not a woven fabric, so it can pull right through like it looks like it did. Yep. And then I will come back and try to catch it again. Yep, see, it got my needle or my pin there. And try to get to the point of it so that it is attached. Sometimes you just really can only get to one side or the other, and that's probably good enough, in all honesty. Right angle corners are much easier than those little pointy peaks. Right angle corners usually you can catch one way or the other. Caught on something here. Where is it? Oh. Caught because I went all the way around and I shouldn't have. What the heck was I doing there? And you see that? I went all the way around, so I'm going to unthread my needle and pull that out. Ouch. I was so worried about getting it caught on a pin that I wasn't paying attention to how I was stitching. Not good, but most, if not all, little mistakes like that, especially when caught kind of right away, can usually be fixed. Just use your good judgment on what you think will best work for fixing whatever it is that has happened. There we go. Now we can go down. And I probably will not cut. I will move along this stick without cutting, but I need to be sure that I can hide my threads, and I also want to put in at least one knot before I move up to the next one. And I think I'm going to move intentionally over. See, this is all closed, and so I'm going to come to over here to be sure that my thread that is being drug across is going to be not right on the edge where I need to sew. Okay, now we're ready to apply sequins and beads. And of course, these are going to be the red sequins. Put a couple of those out in the corner. And then I'll put some of the beads in the lid. Makes it easier to grab now. I'm going to confess that I'm going to use an already threaded bead needle from my other kit. Excuse me. That's because I only have the one bead needle in this kit here, so. All right, and we are ready to go. Doesn't really matter where you start. And since I'm going to drag my thread down to the next stripe, I want to put a knot there just to be sure that they're not easily pulled out. Again, at my house, Christmas ornaments don't get handled much. Get put on the tree and taken off, and that's about it. We ask our grandkids not to touch, and they're very respectful and obedient of that request, because we have a lot of old ornaments on our tree that are breakable. And the cat has learned over the years that he too is not allowed to touch the tree. And he has had to learn that from experience. And so he no longer bothers our tree or our ornaments anymore. But his favorite place in the world, he truly believes that we set up that tree every year just to give him his favorite place to sleep, which is somehow he's a big boy, and somehow he can manage to get under the tree with all of the ornaments hanging without disturbing anything and work his way all the way to the back. And there is where he sleeps through most of the Christmas season. The grandkids like to come and see if they can find him back there. Alrighty, that's where we're at. It is. I'll double check my instructions because I don't retain directions for long. Terrible to get old. But no worries. Okay, let me put this back where it goes over here. And it says, let's see. Where's my pencil? Okay. I like to sometimes when I'm working also, and I've done number 4, I did the 5 through 9. I like to scratch those off. Then add the sequins, which we did. Right there, ready to go. Fold the candy cane in half, lightly stuff, and applique the edge. Applique the candy canes to the cocoa. So we're going to fold it in half. And I think I'm going to start by stuffing and stitching this space right here. Then I can stitch this side of this candy stick, and then I can stuff it in there. So let's get a little stuff here. And again, it really isn't ever very much. And I use my needle and I use my pins to just kind of really tuck it in there really well. Okay, to get out my threaded needle. And now I am going to begin right here in this fold. I'm going to go into the fold. That way my knot is there enclosed and inside. Then I can stitch. Okay, and then keep tucking that in as I go. I pick my floss color based on the majority of what I'm going to be stitching together, and so I feel that the majority of this is white. Now you'll see when I come to the red places here that I can tuck my stitch under the sequin and pull it tight, and then the white almost disappears. You can see it's there, but you pull it in tight, and they really virtually just disappear. Because the felt is kind of, I don't want to say fuzzy, but it's not real smooth. That's why it does stick to itself, which is helpful when you're doing this kind of thing, because you don't have to use as many pins, because it will just kind of hold itself to the other piece. Okay. And I'm getting down here right tight in this V area here. And then now I am going to come up the other side of the V here. And I'm going to stitch that before I put any stuffing in, because it's much easier to put stuffing in when it's not just fully open like it would be. Oh, it looks like I've got a little gap there. I want to come back and catch. I'll probably catch that my next round there. Okay. Now, see, I can stick it in. What? Okay. Still stuffing these little peppermint sticks. And when I flipped them over. I noticed this that was kind of gapping, so I'm going to go to the back when I get done here and remedy that. I think this is too much. Okay, let's get that out also. Easier to see. Okay, so when I flipped it over, see a little gap right here. So I put one knot in, but I'm going to travel my needle up and do that again, come up right here where I want to be, and try to close that little gap there if I can. Let's see, that looks better. I think I just thought I closed up the V before I really had gone all the way down. All right, so now I can take this and give it a knot, and do a second knot. And I'm not going to cut it off because I do want to use white thread to stitch it down. I actually think I'm not too far from where I should be. See, this is number 4, and it's going to lay right there. And because I use these lines here to line it up, those are lines that I also want to cover up and be certain that I stitch over. So I'm going to. Okay,